we get started, bit of housekeeping. As 9 months have passed or whatever, make sure that you've cleared your conditions and you're good to go. You're probably not still afraid, scarred permanently from.
Hmm.
Other than that, we are when you are Rainbow.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Well, hello, other members of IGC and future YouTube watchers for posterity. For real this time, session 1 of our Masks campaign, New Generation. Last week we had a bit of episode, so we're going to kick off for real the start of action now, and hopefully get into some good storytelling beat. So last week we went back in time a bit and explored you guys your first meeting as heroes, a chance get together in the parting giant plant monsters falling out of 10-story buildings, meeting apology, types of events that make people maybe swap contact information and stay in touch with each other afterwards. And over the last 7, 8, 9 months, you guys have kept in touch and worked together, maybe reevaluated your plans, and hey, you're kind of a superhero team now. That's kind of rad. So take a minute maybe and talk to each of you. What has that looked like for your characters, kind of making this group of friends now? Let's start with Muscle.
Muscle Sheep has dedicated himself to keeping maybe a bit clean now that he has to be around people, and has found himself if not a place to live for doing good hero work at some kind of shelter or something, then at least a box in an alleyway somewhere. Other than that,
Very nice. Beatbox, what has Emily been up to these past several months?
Emily is still probably trying to keep things on the DL. She probably still meets up with Muscle Sheep and feeds him and helps him figure out how to run the laundromat and everything, and trying to do good at the sports ball all the time.
All right. Richter, how has her life changed in the past 9?
In regards to being a hero, it's been hell for her because she worked with her work at the Parasol Company, trying to keep her head down and not try to get into the spotlight or anything because of who she works with. And last thing she needs is to create problems for the company. So, like Beatbox, she's been keeping her head down, and anytime that she's helped, she's tried, albeit failed, to stay out of the limelight. Most likely because she's been dragged in by one of the other members.
Fair enough. And I'm assuming her relationship with her erstwhile mentor has gone down the drain.
Deteriorating ever since the first time she learned that Jillian was doing hero work.
And Azur, how has our favorite extraterrestrial been adapting to life on Earth?
Still probably gets a lot of things mixed up and confused, and has the stereotypical mixed metaphors, things like that. Project on studying superheroes and supervillains and how humans react to having these abilities is still going pretty strong. Not a lot of communication from home, I would imagine, at this point just yet. And as far as working with the team is concerned, still doesn't really think of himself as a hero per se, just a contributor doing what they do best.
Oh, fair enough indeed. So, and we'll hear from Dan's character once he gets in, but kind of moving along the lines there. You guys have been working together for the past, like I said, many months, and you've managed to eke out a few adventures here or there. The monster around Christmas and the centaur that ran down Main Street last couple months ago. But it's not really what you might have thought it was. As all of you have learned, perhaps painfully, heroing in Halcyon City it's a business. It's organized. There are people that are in charge of that help make sure that the right heroes make it to the right crime scenes, and they're not really too keen on, as good as you guys did in your sort of introductory mission there, you're still kids to them, and they're not in the business of sending out children to take care of things. You guys have done your best to kind of skirt those restrictions, but you still might be kind of chafing a bit at taking a lot of good chances to flex your muscles like you did that first. And that's where we're going to start tonight's session, as the issue will kind of open up. It's nighttime at a park, a very familiar park. The first place you guys met, a place that I'm sure Muscle Sheeb still frequents, if not mostly spends his time in, chasing the same squirrel.
Mm.
It's dark, the neon has come out, the suits have gone away, and we meet our heroes, minus Highlight, in the middle of the park, facing down a trench coat wearing individual. As you kind of look up, it's tall. He's a tall man, elderly. He's got gray hair kind of peeking out from the hat he's got on. He's got one of those fake nose glasses, the spiral glasses with the false nose put on.
Groucho Marx glasses.
Yeah. He looks down at you all, and after you guys chasing him halfway around the park, he will shout out, "No, you will not stop the dog whistler! My mission is sacred! How dare you heroes come to stop?"
Seriously.
Hi, Dan. We'll get to you as soon as we can.
So Jilem just like looks at the would-be villain and just give him the biggest deadpan she can muster, like, "Dog whistler."
Indeed, I am the dog whistler. Until the people of Halcyon learn to keep their pets on a leash, I shall be the one to make them pay. A slight freeze frame there as the panel opens up, explaining this was the only lead the Halcyon Hero Association was willing to give you guys. There's someone that's been vandalizing public parks around the area. The maintenance workers wake up in the morning, they find a whole lot of dog droppings all over the place, and they're confused at who's doing it. That's the job you guys have been set.
Really?
She, what have we said? What have we talked about? Doing your business.
Already told you, wasn't me.
And to think I had to use my day off for this. I was like, Jilem just like starts putting on gloves. All right, dog whistler. God, that sounds stupid. Even saying it. We're gonna.
You mock me, little girl, but you will not know the wrath of the canine. As he lifts from his neck a whistle on a chain and blows it. Most of you hear nothing. I'm gonna need straight just a 2d6 roll from you, however.
Is there a button for a straight? Oh, there it is.
Got it. So you will hear this, but for the moment, the man is the master of the beast, and you are not compelled to obey. But at a very hypersonic frequency, you do hear the command of summons, and all the rest of you do hear a multitude of dog barking, different breeds as they start coming out from the woodwork and all coming to heed the dog whistler's command.
Oh no.
You've gotta be kidding me.
Emily will look between Mushi and the dog whistler and back and forth for a minute, and then go over and like cover his ears with her hands. Can she reach them actually? How tall is he?
I don't think I ever wrote that down.
I don't think it's like an actual stat.
I imagine like 6'5", 6'6".
She'll do her best.
You guys are now encircled by multiple different barking dogs. You might look, these aren't like wild street animals. They have collars on, they have tags. These are very domestic looking dogs. Well, what are you going to do now, children? Are you not afraid?
I'm gonna bark out in my best attempt to speak dog, because I'm, only part dog, but more human, I guess. I'm gonna bark out, "Get 'em, boys!"
Let's see. That's actually a pretty decent use of the provokes. So for provoke, you have to roll plus superior.
Oh, this will go over well.
What is your superior?
-1.
Hey, you hit.
Not bad. So on a 7 to 9, you do succeed, and I have to choose one. So I'm gonna choose that they stumble. So you're not really speaking dog. That's not really a power you have, but you do watch as a lot of different breeds. Maybe a shepherd there, a little wiener dog over there, kind of turn and look at you, and they start rolling over and showing you their best. So they are briefly distracted, and you will take going forward. You have a +1 on whatever next roll you make towards the group of dogs.
Fun.
When the dog whistler said, aren't you afraid? Voidspawn thinks they're not afraid, but maybe they're supposed to be afraid of this, and they're going to do their best, like, acting 101 over dramatic cowering in fear act.
Would the whistle hurt his ears by chance? Since he's not technically human?
Does that alien species hear like the really high frequency noises?
Am I asking dumb
It's a good
questions
question,
tonight?
actually.
I'll go ahead and say he might have been able to hear them if you want him to be able to hear high frequencies like that. But his power really does work on canines, so it wouldn't have any like influence over.
Alright, that works.
But seeing you're cowering, the dog whistler will kind of point and laugh and say, "See, this one understands my ferocity."
Jilem just like sighs and unleashes her powers. So should I just roll a freak roll for that?
Oh, tell me what you would like to do with it.
like a ring of marigolds which actually repel dogs. So the minute they smell it, they will start running.
Well, I think that's not going to be a terribly complex move there, so I don't think you have to roll for that. I think you're just going to be able to make that simple move for.
Mm-hmm. So Joan just, yeah. So about that army of yours. She snaps her fingers and just marigold starts sprouting.
Oh, the effect is pretty immediate. The dogs that had previously been mostly content to wag their tails at a muscle sheep, they start to scatter and can kind of roam around the park, and the dog whisperer is losing partial control there. How unhappy are you about the marigolds, however, muscle sheep?
I don't know because I am currently channeling the dog power. So I'm just going to roll a flat 2d6.
It's a close one, but you are still managing to master the inner canine. So,
I'll start growling at them.
very fair. Sensing that he's losing control of the situation, however, the dog whistler will once again blow on his whistle and say, "Go forth, deface the park, ignore me and ignore these brats." And sure enough, just like that, actually, the dogs seek out and start to tear up the park that has been your home for a while, Muscle.
I hasn't.
Meanwhile, Void Spawn just starts cowering from the flowers instead, just still way over the top, over dramatic. Flowers, that's even worse.
What? Are you serious?
I mean, they are kind of sucky if you're allergic, but you're an alien.
Well, okay, point. So, you want to blow his brain out, or should I? She points to the dog whistler.
He kind of comes up shorts at that and like kind of freezes from whatever dance move he was doing at the moment. That's a violent turn of phrase, young lady.
I mean, I could just mute him.
Yeah, that works too.
Alright, easily done. And she'll she'll look at him and there'll be a couple little comic panels where he'll try to talk, but the Apple iPhone like notification with the, what do you call it, the mute button, it'll kind of show up above his head in the comic panels.
Yeah, he'll try and speak in his over-the-top way. He'll try and blow on his whistle a few times, and just no sound is coming.
I'm sorry, does the cat have your tongue?
Oh my.
Cat!
And yes, he has a cat on him. Go get him.
Go get him, there's a cat!
Going to bound toward the dog whistler and attempt to catch this cat.
All right, so you're trying to, in another way, kind of attack the dog with.
I guess.
Well, let's have you directly engage the threat of Schrodinger's cat.
Alright, so danger.
Oh no.
I imagine I get up to him, cat, and I start sniffing around. And I don't do anything to him. I just start sniffing around him for the cat.
be sure to mark potential with that, though.
Okay.
So yeah, what might have been a hostile maneuver quickly becomes much tamer as you're kind of looking for this darn cat and you don't. The rest of you might be kind of distracted by seeing Muscle Sheep kind of bend down and start sniffing around as the dog whistler starts to kind of tiptoe off the panel, trying to slide out of the.
Okay, no. Jilem snaps her fingers again, dispelling the marigolds because they're not doing anything, and instead tries to recreate vines that'll keep him.
At least if you're going to leave, take your dogs with you.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, go take them home.
Would I need to roll a freak roll for that?
Yeah, let's have you roll powers for that one. And kind of while you're doing that, as you all look around, I mean, you're starting to see where the police report came from. These dogs are doing a good job of defecating around the park.
Uh,
Trying to prevent further damage to the area, Void Spawn will stop pretending to cower in fear and wander into a open area and turn himself into a giant fire hydrant.
Oh, nice. All right, so Jalim, that's a good hit there. So you will get to no penalty to it. So summon the vines and they totally lash around him. You get the feeling he might have cursed if he had volume to do.
and as he's bound, she'll just grab the whistle off his neck. Ugh, seriously? You couldn't come up with anything better. And she'll just glare at him.
You do so, and Void Spawn, you get the delightful event of having about half a dozen dogs all kind of circling you and it seems like the bait has taken.
Emily is going to quickly do the same whistle she did at Muscle Sheep several months ago. She's gotten a lot of practice in on it with him, so she'll try to get the dog's attention before they just fucking pee all over this poor sop.
Alright, I'm made of metal, it washes right off.
Yeah, but you're
That's
still gonna
gross.
stink. You're still gonna stink to high heaven.
all very successful, and without a whole lot of effort there, you guys have quickly subdued the terrible threat of the dog whistler. I imagine that over the next several panels, over the next few minutes, you guys round up different dogs. Again, these are like his pets. They're really well taken care of. You know, they have name tags and everything, and they're really obedient, actually, especially if Jalim dares to use the whistle a bit. It's kind of great.
It's like, so they're all good boys, basically?
They're very good boys.
And Jillian just like looks at the whistle. Is it just an old dog whistle?
Yeah.
And she'll just like get this thing washed and cleansed.
Very good.
Like, all right. How many dogs does he have in?
I'd say about 6 or 7.
Ooh. And after the whistle's like fully cleansed, she'll like give the whistle like a blow to get their attention.
Or
Oh, right. Muscle Sheep. And she'll just like, all right, come on, boys, let's go for a walk. And
walk.
Sheep, you will pull my arm off if I put you on a leash. But yes, you can come.
No, he doesn't need a leash, but he will still follow.
And I guess like the panel would just end with like Jilem just like walking 6 dogs and Muscle Sheep following.
Yeah, fair enough. Were you taking them to a specific place or just getting their energy out?
just getting their energy out.
Fair enough. Emily, Void Spawn, or were you guys gonna call the police on this guy? Were you gonna let him go? What was the battle plan?
I guess we can escort him to the police.
Yeah, he's not really a problem. He's just a nuisance, but he needs to quit taking people's dogs, so probably should take him to the police.
Very well. So you guys will take him to one of the local police stations. They lock him away. This is very low, unsexy hero work right now. And as the power starts to fade of his muting, you hear him just screaming in the back of the station about leash laws and properly picking up after your pets and how there's just no respect in Halcyon City anymore.
Also, on the walk to the police station, Voidspawn spent the entire time asking him if he enjoyed the performance.
And as he was still muted, he could not answer. But his
I was
looks
like,
of
did I seem sufficiently afraid? I assumed that that's what you wanted me to do, so I put on as best an act as I could perform, and just going on and on like that.
his pout got sulkier and sulkier as you walked.
Emily will try her best to give him constructive praise.
Give the dog whistler constructive
No,
praise.
Void Spawn.
Okay. Well, I mean, what does that look like? Let's do that scene a little bit.
Yeah, he was trying to get you to be afraid, but you're supposed to be a hero, and like heroes aren't supposed to be afraid of people, especially not ones that just control dogs. So maybe not the best time to have done that performance. It was
But he
good,
seemed
though.
as though he needed the emotional support.
We don't emotionally support villains unless they really need it. He was just looking for an audience.
Oh, so he is like Highlight.
Yes. Very attention-seeking.
Well, around this time, you guys will get a call, but before we do that, kind of backing up here to the beginning, you there?
Yep, I'm here.
I asked everybody at the beginning, and I'm going to ask you. It's been about 9 months since you guys first met that fateful summer's day. What's it been like for Highlight, having friends, working together, being part of a team?
Being part of this group for him, it's been great. He says that with like, if he were answering that question himself, he would answer it with like kind of a fake smile, but he means it for the most part. That thanks to that incident, he's gotten a lot more noticed and a lot more attention, and things are picking up for him. And he figured out that these 4 other heroes seem to attract a lot of attention somehow, some way, and so it's nice to be able to be around where disaster hits most often. And so he just hangs out.
So would you say you're still kind of in a state of maybe using them more than befriending?
I wouldn't call it using. It's more like we mutually benefit each other.
Very fair. Well, you just spent the evening on the street corner outside of the park. You were covering the escape exit as your friends were preparing to subdue the nefarious dog whistle. Unfortunately, it didn't take them very long to subdue him, and they've already escorted him to the police station as you're still standing there. But that kind of became fortuitous as you're looking across the street at this jewelry store. And even before your eyes, although the lights are off, you don't see any movement, the alarm in the store starts to go off.
Nice. Okay, it's just by myself. Yeah, I'd go and see what's happening.
Well, you'll walk up to, imagine this has one of those, big open windows in the shop front. You can kind of look and you look in through the window. It's kind of pitch black in there, but you start making out some shadowy figures, some bodies, and is that one changing shape? Is it growing? Oh, he just hit the person against the wall. It's too dark, but is that blood?
Can I light it up in there?
How do your powers work?
Basically, when he makes noise, he can turn that into light.
So is it fairly normal, you think, to be able to do that kind of into a room you're looking?
Yeah, he would just like create a little spark. So there would be something noticeable, but hopefully it would be enough to like light the room. He doesn't really care if he's noticed or not, of course.
Well, totally fair. You do so, and you make this spark of light. What you see inside, oh God, yes, that's blood on the wall. That's a lot of blood. You see a body kind of limping or limped down against the floorboards there, and something big and hulking is going in the back.
I'm the only one on the street, right?
You are.
Okay, that's not worth risking my ass. So I'm gonna call 911 or the police or something. Wait, actually, I should let the others know first. Okay, they'd be able to handle it. So I'd call, which one would be the first one on my list? Alphabetically, A, B, C, sorry, J. Oh, it would be Jillem.
What would you have us under your phone as? Just our names, or?
That'd be a good question. We'll say its names for now.
Until like we actually have
Definitely not
established hero
disparaging
names.
nickname.
Definitely not.
Wow.
He's not mean. I'm
Well,
not.
I don't have to worry. Muscle Sheep doesn't have a phone.
So I'll call Dylan.
So, Jillem, about the time you're walking out of the police station with the police kind of grudgingly thanking you for bringing him in, he's already being
Wait, who?
about the time that you're leaving the police station, as they're grudgingly thanking you for capturing the dog whistler,
Mm-hmm.
your phone will ring.
Oh. Hang on.
Hey.
Hang on, I still haven't gotten everyone's names. What is Beatbox's actual name? Emily?
Yep,
It
yep.
wouldn't. Okay.
Emily, can you take these guys real quick? I gotta take this. And she hands over like the 6
Sure.
dogs to Emily.
That's a lot
and
of dogs.
Yeah. And she looks at the call ID, just grimaces like, here we go. Taps like, hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, hi. What is your non-hero name, by the way? Out of character.
God, what is my non-hero name? Let's go with Sujin. Yeah, Sujin's better.
Shujin or Sujin?
Yeah.
Okay. Sujin, what is it?
How's it going with the dog whistler?
Brought in and detained.
Oh, that's great. So, there's a situation over here.
Oh God, what now? Don't tell me it's a cat whisperer.
Well, I don't think so. There's just this jewelry store here, you see, and there's something here. Can't really see it, but I can see a lot of blood. Not really in the mood to get my hands dirty, so could you all come over here as soon as possible? Thanks.
On our way. And she'll hang up, look to Emily, Sheeb, and Void. You're like, all right, so we have another situation. And she'll look at the police officer. Do you mind if I leave these guys with you? She gestures to the dogs. I'll probably come by and pick them up later.
Yeah, you might want to check if they're microchipped.
That too.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Well, we
At
don't
least you-
either, so...
At least you get paid.
Yeah, this, very stereotypical police officer takes the dogs and leads them to the back as he leaves you guys be.
And Jillian will lead the rest of them to the group where Sujin said there was a problem, explain she walked.
And as I said, you guys had left him. He had kind of maybe volunteered to stand guard over the exit of the park.
I went to get boba tea and came back, so I just have like a drink in my hand.
Yeah, totally. So you guys make it to the exit of that park, and where you guys will meet back up with your very famous friend.
Okay, we're here. Did you call anyone else?
Oh no, I just called you all. I figured the police were useless, so would be a waste of our time.
I mean, they are
But,
now. They
yeah.
have like 7 dogs.
I gesture inside the store. Well, I moved the spark so like the light, not the light, the blood itself is in prominent view.
Oh, all right. See if you can get like another hero coming. Well, if you and when you're done, come join us. Okay?
You cut out like halfway.
Oh, Jillian will look at Sujin and says, "All right, we'll go in. You need to call somebody like a hero that you know. When you're done, come join us. All right?"
Should
Sure.
we not also call an ambulance for the bleeding person?
That too. Yeah, actually, just call 911.
Alrighty. Will do. And I'll just like back up and get on my phone.
Slurp your boba tea.
Actually, yeah, I'll take a slurp and then I'll I'll surreptitiously take a picture from like behind so no one else can see what I'm doing. So I'll take a picture and then I'll call 911.
You're lucky we don't have morality points. All right. So while he does that phone call, what's the plan, Stan? Are you guys gonna try and force the door? Do you want to get into the jewelry store?
Beatbox, can you hear any movement inside?
Can I?
Do you have like sensitive hearing or anything?
Oh, sure. Ask the beatbox, not the dog.
I know, I was like, wouldn't muscle sheet be a better idea?
Yeah, I don't hear better than normal people. I can make the
Oh.
noise louder, but... How about
Oh.
you, Mushi?
Oh, I apologize.
It's alright.
Would you
I
like to
imagine Muscle Sheep is already like sniffing around the door.
All right, let's see. I'm going to have you assess the situation. So let's roll plus superior.
Could I use Freak to unleash my powers? Because I do have. That is one of the things I picked for the transform.
So is that one of your moves, or do you just mean you have the power for sensitive hearing?
Let me pull up the transform sheet here. So it said like pick 2 abilities. and one of those was superhuman senses.
Right. So because you have the super senses of a dog, that's why you're able to hear anything. But I'm still going to have you roll to assess just to see what you make out.
Okay. I was just wondering because still new to the system.
Yeah, totally fine.
This will only end. Oh my
Oh,
gosh!
there you go.
I did it.
So on a 10 plus for this, you get to ask me 2 questions. Do you have that guide for the
Yeah.
basic move?
All right. So I'm gonna ask, what here is the biggest threat?
Okay. For that question, you'll perk up your ears and using your super senses. It's kind of quiet in the store, and if Highlight had thought to tell you that he saw someone going in the back, no one out there either. Behind the jewelry store, out in the alleyway, you hear something big moving.
All right. And how can we best end this quickly? Because it seems that someone is hurt, and Muscle Sheep does not like it when people get hurt, and wants to end this quickly.
You know that if you wanted to get into this door, this puny wooden frame would not stop Muscle Sheep. And the alarm is already going off. So that would be a really good way to get in and see this hurt person as soon as possible.
All right, so I think after sniffing around and perking, I think Muscle Sheep's hackles are gonna rise. He's gonna growl, and he's just gonna try and rip the door off the frame so he can get inside and get this person before the big scary thing can get him more, I guess.
Yeah, very fair. And as I said, this door stands no chance against the might of Muscle Sheep.
As he does that, I call out from the back, "Oh, by the way, there's something really big in the back."
And you didn't tell us this until now. Why?
Thanks.
I kind of shrug. Oops. Hashtag my bad.
So Muscle Sheep, are you going to go ahead and enter this door too?
Yeah, his main goal is to basically find out who's bleeding and then get them out of the way of this danger.
Yeah. As you kind of go inside, and there would be no lights in here except for the one that Highlight is kind of maintaining. You see the blood kind of splattered against the wall, and as you move behind the service counter type of, you see a grown man lying in a crumpled heap at the base of the floor. It's a superhero, not a very famous one, but he's got costume on and everything, and he is out. Dangling from his wrist is a pair of handcuffs. One side is attached to his wrist, and the other one has been seemingly forced open, broken open from just size expanding.
I would like to grab him and run out of the store.
With your increased size, you just kind of princess hold him. He's injured,
Aww.
but he's injured, but not like super grievously. It looks maybe worse than it is as you kind of carry him outside.
I can imagine him just like carrying him, like running outside, but like he's got his tail between his legs, and instead of stopping near his teammates, he just like keeps going into the park a ways
Where's he going?
before setting him down.
I know a lot of people, so would I recognize this fallen man?
Oh, I'll have to ask you that. This is a 1-star bottom rank hero. He
No.
would not be in any news stories. So
Nah.
would you?
Not worth my time.
Gotcha.
But maybe I would have heard of him in passing.
Probably not.
Oh, that's a shame. Poor dying guy.
But you are calling 911, correct?
Yeah, I figured like I talked to the ambulance person already, so they should be coming.
Gotcha. So,
After you were done taking selfies with the bleeding person behind you.
I did not take a selfie. I just took a picture of the situation because it was weird, and it might get notoriety or notes or something. Just in the back of my head. You always have to have a self.
At this, Jalem just looks at you and again asks you the question she asked you the first time. What the hell, hero?
You never know when you could use it.
So, question for I already have like influence over Sujin twice over. Should I still roll this, or does this get a bonus too?
So if you have influence over him, any roll you make towards him automatically gets a plus
Plus what?
+1.
Okay.
Now, what exactly are you trying to do?
I'm trying to call him out on the whole picture taking and the general laissez-faire attitude. Because if he's trying to be a hero, that's not gonna fly.
Gotcha.
Do you need me to fly?
I'll
Nice.
explain it later, Void. So should she still roll?
Let me look one thing up real quick, because I think we're going to do our first label shift, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Let's see, I'm not sure if I have the right rules for that, but let's just do this. What exactly are you trying to teach, highlight? What is the message you want to get across?
To the phone away and be an actual hero. Like, now is not the time for your social media, texting, blogging, whatever. This is actually someone could potentially die here or is very hurt, and you're on your phone.
And I
Time
look
and
up from my
place.
phone, and I'm like, wait, what did you say?
So, highlight. Does that message resonate with you, or are you trying to tell her to shut?
Uh, it's not like I don't care, but there are things that take priority. So, I don't know. I'm not completely refuting it, but I am refuting part of it.
I think that still counts for rejecting someone's influence, though. So,
Okay.
you're gonna have to roll 2d6.
Oh boy. It's not rolling. Or maybe it didn't, I just didn't see it.
Just click the flat 2d6 on your character sheet.
It might be.
I didn't see the input value thing, my bad.
Yeah,
That sucks.
it's a hit, though.
Okay.
So, on a hit, you successfully hold to yourself and you tune them out. So, despite her best efforts, you are not immediately swayed by Jalem. So, what you get to do is you get to pick one of the following. You can either clear a condition or mark potential by immediately acting to prove them wrong. You can shift your own labels by rejecting their influence, or you can take away their influence and get +1 towards your next roll towards them.
Okay, that was a lot.
So
Do I
either
still have hopeless? I should
No,
have.
you would
The
have
9
cleared all
months.
conditions, yeah.
Okay. So, what did you say if I act to prove them wrong?
I'm snipping it. I'll put it in the chat real quick.
Sure, thank you.
All right, there you go.
Okay, so I choose one. Clear condition or mark potential. Shift one label up and one label down of mine.
Yes.
Cancel their influence and take one for I don't want to cancel influence. I'll mark potential by doing something to prove her wrong.
All right, gotcha. So what she told you to do is that you are not being a hero. This phone taking, you're obviously not saving people. Like, you're not being a hero.
And I just do a deep lock my phone, stuff it down my pocket, and then I go over to that guy that's like basically he actually, yeah, I'm gonna check his pulse and his breathing because I know how to do that. I just decided. I know CPR.
Yeah, fair enough. He is breathing. Like I said, his injuries look worse than they are, but he is going to need some medical attention.
Can I see what's hurt on him?
So
Or is it just like everything?
it looks like maybe his shoulder got maybe dislocated or sprained or something, and something has sort of pierced his front. It's not terribly deep, but he's bleeding a lot.
We're gonna need the God, what's the word? Do something with his wound, and then yeah, there we go. Thank you. And I just
Are
like
you sure you
gesture
need a drink?
vaguely. We need to do something about that wound, or he's gonna lose too much blood.
Step 1, apply pressure.
And I just look down at him and his bloody chest, and I grimace a little bit, but I put my hands down on it.
Fair enough. Jalim, you watch. There's too much sass in this. He's not really listening to your words, but he is kind of showing you, like, come on, I'm a hero too. I know what I'm doing here.
Jill will just like shake her head and just like go through the back and so like there's like any trail or anything.
All right, 1 second.
Void Spawn will join her on that.
Totally cool. Or is it just you two? Is anyone else going to follow them into the?
I'm sorry, you cut out what?
Much anger.
Nice. So, Jalim and Void Spawn are going in the back. Who else is going?
I'll follow once the ambulance comes.
So not you for now. Muscle Sheep is still fretting over the injured.
No, Muscle Sheep is doing exactly what I linked in that image. He is fretting over the hero, and then he's like, who could do this to this? Much anger, such rage.
Nice.
Very, very wrong. And he starts striding towards this jewelry store with the menacing, I don't know if it's hiragana or katakana, but the menacing symbols above his head. It's like, he's like, I have to make this right.
Yeah, very good. What is Emily doing?
Emily will go ahead and hang out with Highlight and dig through her bag as he applies pressure to try to find anything that could help.
Right, so Beatbox and Highlight are going to take care of the injured hero as the other three kind of move into the back. What you guys will see now that you're not looking for the injured person, behind the counter, some of the glass has definitely been smashed. A lot of the jewelry is missing. The door to the back is open ajar, and as you follow it through the back, you'll see another door that leads out to the alleyway behind.
Jalem just tries to look around, but she doesn't have any like extra sensory abilities. So she just looks to Void. And do you see anything out of place?
I don't have any extrasensory abilities either, but we do know that this was supposedly something big, so I'll look for things in the alley that have been knocked over that might indicate a trail.
And Jalem will actually look up. If like she can catch like a glimpse of someone climbing to the roofs.
All right, so I'm gonna have Azur, you do an assess the situation roll. So that is a plus superior. Ooh,
Not good.
right, so
So
do
close.
mark your potential. You're looking around and you're not really seeing anything that catches your eye. This doesn't look like, a pristine alleyway. It's decently traveled, so there's no signs sticking out to you right away. Jalem, you look up, and I'm not gonna have you roll because there's nothing up there. There's nothing to find in the.
Well, I got nothing. Void, you?
Same here. Perhaps we should ask the Muscle Sheeb if he can sniff out a trail.
Agreed.
I'd imagine that while everyone's doing this, I'm trying to sniff around, like trying to tap into that dog, part of me. See if I can get anything.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and do your unleash your powers roll.
I'm gonna
This
say
guy's long gone, apparently.
Oh no,
gonna
can't
say-
get him.
I find like maybe there's either like a mouse hole, or maybe someone had dropped a piece of jerky on accident.
Hold on a second, because there might be something we can do with that.
Ooh, okay.
Is it team moves? Or here, let me see if I can find it in the thing Richter sent.
By the way, in case you guys don't know, you can double click on the header of like all these handouts, and it'll minimize it. In case you've got like 3 or 4 open at a time, like me.
Oh, hello. I've been making them like separate windows. But that's useful.
So something that we did not use last time because it was prologue and I'm still kind of learning the system. There's a mechanic called Team, which is a resource that you guys will get to kind of manage and use for Azure and Rainbow. It's a little bit like the Destiny points from Edge of the Empire. But we get to manage that through working together and that kind of thing. And you already start with one resource in the pool at the start of the session. So anyone working with the team can spend 1 team point to help a teammate, which gives them a +1 to their roll. So if you guys want to go ahead and use that, someone could turn Muscle Sheep's miss into a success.
And how much team do we have per session?
Isn't it 4 to start?
You start with 1, but every time you go into combat, we get to add some.
Okay.
So in that case, like, do you mind if we use one to add the +1 to Sheeb's to make it a hit?
Absolutely, you can do that.
Alright, then I'll do it.
All right. So while I copy this into the chat, describe how you're going to help Sheeb track down this guy.
So Sheeb is just sniffing around, that until Jillian is from the doorway, and she'll just call Sheeb over and point him at the glass, and like maybe like there's a trail that leads.
So what was that last part?
After pointing to the door, she would tell him that maybe there's like a scent trail that this guy left, starting from here.
All right, gotcha. Are you going to accept her advice and kind of look out for that, Muscle Sheeb?
I think I'll go ahead, yeah.
All right. So we'll spend that one team there. Your roll will turn into a success. So kind of following her point out, seeing which direction to kind of focus your efforts. You unleash the inner Doge and start sniffing away. So you are assessing the situation, so you will get to ask me one of those questions if you so like, or we can just have you follow the...
I think we just want to follow the trail right now, so I'm just going to try and point it out to everyone.
Well, all right, sure enough, you will look down the alleyway, and although there's no visual sight of whatever this figure was, you do smell him. You smell blood going down this way and around the corner. So would you guys like to give chase?
I'd say yes, but it's up to Void and Azure. Void and Sheeb.
Yeah, I'd like to follow too, but I would need to be following Sheeb, so it's up to Sheeb really.
I think like Muscle Sheep kind of perks up when he finds the trail and he looks at everyone. Like expectantly.
Have you found something?
Such blood. Very nice.
Something.
You guys have been with him long enough to know that basically he's saying I found something.
Alright.
Oh,
you
he
think you
talks
can
like
use
the
it
meme.
Yeah, because when he transformed into Muscle Sheep, he lost a lot of his language. And Emily's been trying to teach him how to speak again. But he just can't grasp it very well.
Alright. Then in that case, once like she gets that confirmation, she'll just go like, alright, let's go after him.
Indeed, we cannot let someone who is willing to injure a hero like that to wander the city.
Agreed.
Much anger.
Sheeb, go.
I'm gonna start following the trail.
Very well. You will follow around a couple of twists and turns. You're keeping to like alleyways and cut throughs, but you don't have to go very, very far before you guys come to one more turn, and just around the way you hear clattering and the knocking over of bottles, and someone kicks a dumpster and grunts.
Do Beatbox and I see them leave? I'm assuming not. So we don't know what's happening.
Not yet.
Okay.
I will say probably about the time they're coming up to this intersection is when the ambulance is arriving and they're starting to talk with you and take the...
So they take them into great hands.
Yep. And I'm sure one of the ambulance workers will come out and say, "Oh, kids, it's a good thing you found him when you did. What happened, if you don't mind me asking?"
Uh,
We exchange a look, and I'll explain the circumstances of how I found him. That something was happening in that store, and my fellow teammates went to investigate.
Oh goodness. Well, I hope they're not going to get in any trouble. I mean, you guys are just children. He'll kind of like look back at his fellows and he'll call out like, "Hey, you should call a real hero. Have him investigate this. These kids are going to get themselves."
is he shifting our labels?
That's rude.
He might be. Do you guys wish to take that laying down? Are you going to reject his influence?
No. I mean, I'm as in like I'm not gonna take it. um, I'll tell him, excuse you, but and I'll make sure like I grab Beatbox so like we're both close together. We're real heroes.
I mean, who knows what would have happened if we hadn't found him, so pretty sure we did about as good of a job as any adults.
Listen, kids, it's good that you guys were here. Got him as soon as you could, but look, I mean, this is Halcyon. There are plenty of heroes that are better qualified than you at taking care of bad guys, but you did save this person, so this is when we need you both to roll 2d6.
Oh no.
Assuming you're deliberately trying to ignore him.
Damn it. No.
Alright, so Rainbow Emily will kind of reject him there, and let's see. So you'll get to pick one from the box I put in chat earlier. In the meantime, highlight this is the second time tonight someone's kind of telling you what your limits are, and that's starting to kind of get into your head. Go
Yeah,
ahead and
I'd probably ask him like, do you not know who I am?
well, normally you'd get to pick which one, but given that statement, I'm going to go ahead and say you should probably mark insecure.
That's what I was thinking too.
Can I just take a moment to say here that since Ren said you guys saved him, that means he's dead now.
Nice.
Unspoken law of EMS.
Oh no.
Never say that they're gonna be fine. That means they're gonna die. But thankfully, this is fantasy and those rules don't apply.
Well, very good though, and I didn't mean to jinx this man's chance.
This 1-star hero's gonna pass.
No, see, he's a 1-star hero that nobody knows, so he doesn't deserve. He hasn't earned it.
He might as well have a red shirt on.
Oh my god.
No, he'll be in the hospital and he'll have like a bunch of bandages. And then later we go and talk to him and he'll give us information. If I've read enough comic books, I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Alright, so Dan, make sure you mark that insecure there, and I am
Yep.
gonna shift your leg. This man is trying to, calm you down a bit and make you think that fighting bad guys isn't your thing. So that's gonna be shifting danger down, but savior up one.
Okay. I'll take it. So I'll shift it.
Gotcha. And you're back, Rainbow?
Yes.
So you get to pick one from from the box of things up there that I put in chat?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I get to mark potential for missing, right?
He got up 1 second.
Oh, okay. No worries.
My cat just decided he was mad that I wasn't giving him attention.
Oh
He was
no.
biting me, so I locked him out of the bedroom, and now he's getting mad because I locked him out of the bedroom.
Cats are like that.
So what were you gonna do with that roll there?
Who's that to?
Rainbow.
That's for the team mechanic, or above that?
They're rejecting the influence.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So of the bulleted list there, you get to pick one.
I can't. What does it mean to take one forward against them?
That means that the next time you make any kind of roll to that person, it gets a +1.
Right, but I'm probably not going to meet him again, right? Because it's just the EMT.
Yeah, you never say never.
I mean, in a comic book world, he'll show up in issue 72, like with like a shotgun, and he'll kill the bad guy that's about to stab someone.
I'll go ahead and shift one up and one down.
So you get to choose how you're kind of rejecting his message and changing what you think about yourself here.
I went ahead and shifted down mundane one and savior up one because that's kind of what I was trying to get him to believe.
So you can save people, but you're not exactly like a normal kid.
Right, because we were able to intervene so well. Obviously, we're not just bad kids.
Gotcha. So we'll kind of leave that scene then and go back to this intersection. The three of you, Muscle Sheep, Voidspawn, and Jalim, you hear noise down the alleyway in front of
Calm, Sheeb. Calm down.
My hackles are raised.
So Jillian is going to try to assess the situation. Target, or this could be.
So what exactly are you trying to assess?
Like, is this our threat, or is this a random person who's in the wrong place at the wrong time?
So I'm not going to make you roll because you are deliberately following the trail of Muscle Sheep.
Okay.
Basically, it's just up to your decision if you go barreling in, if you want to try and observe sneakily.
Jolene will hang back and just watch what happens.
And what about you, Voidspawn?
Voidspawn has probably been consuming a lot of random Earth media in the 9 months since the first session. And so he is going to shapeshift into like a stereotypical cop uniform and just shout, "Halt in the name of the law!"
Nice. Okay. So are you turning the corner, or are you just shouting that from the distance?
Just shouting that from the distance for now.
You
Maybe
hear...
slowly approaching.
Gotcha. So you're going to hear another loud curse, another thump as if someone hit their leg on the dumpster a second time, perhaps unintentional, and scuffling as someone is trying to hurry down the alleyway.
Hearing that, I will go into a full chase after them.
Someone is running, and Muscle Sheep wants to run as well.
Very
And-
good.
Shillam will just like yell, "Sheep, go!"
So let's have both Muscle Sheep and Void Spawn roll to engage. I will say, I'm imagining that this is decently threatening from his perspective. So if you want to do that, like freak move instead of danger,
The not human.
that move you picked, right? Yeah, not human enough.
Yeah, I did. I took not human enough, coming for you, and wish I could.
So I was saying that these circumstances would fit not human enough if you wish to activate it.
I'm gonna start like running on all fours and bark. I mean, can you imagine? I don't know if you've ever seen a Russian Caucasian.
A
But
Russian
they are
what?
basically the size of ponies.
Wait, a Russian what?
Russian Caucasian. You know in the cartoons where they have like the rescue dog
Mm-hmm.
with like the
Oh, those huge dogs, yeah.
yeah, Russian Caucasians are massive.
Okay, so you did do that, so you will have to mark a condition.
I'm gonna go with angry because this I'm assuming this thing that we're chasing is the one that hurt this hero.
Indeed. So, Void Spawn, you do miss. Go ahead and mark your potential as you're having trouble keeping up with this thing. But
I like to imagine Muscle Sheep just barrels me over, charging right past me.
oh, almost definitely. Your disguise was nice, but you're kind of shoved into the alleyway wall. So, Ryukin, you get to pick 3 different options from directly engage a threat.
Okay. So first I'm going to frighten the opposition because that's the obvious answer. And if they're going to fight back, I'm going to resist or avoid their blows while I... Are they, like, clothed? Can I see what it is?
Yeah, do a quick description here as you're kind of barreling down. What you see before you is a really lanky teenage boy. He's maybe not quite 6 feet. He's like a beanpole thin. He's got dirty clothes on, a black leather jacket that's so thin it might be see-through, and once again, a broken pair of handcuffs hanging off of his wrist.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to frighten him as I'm running up closer to him. And I imagine he either grabs something to hit me with, or he starts swinging himself. I'm going to resist or avoid those. And while he's doing that, I'm going to grab onto this coat and rip it off of him.
Yeah, very good. So we'll get a good couple of action panels there of some kapows and bangs as Muscle Sheep just smacks into this retreating. You get your teeth in that coat, you tear it off. The force of that almost like spins this guy around 180 degrees as he tries to yank his arms out of the sleeves to get away from. Turning now to face Void Spawn and Jalim, who's maybe slowly catching. Is Jalim leisurely walking? Is she running too?
She's just like leisurely walking, because like she knows that, or she would assume that she was like based on how eager he was, but so she'll just like wait to see how this plays out, and she'll just like act as like damage control.
Gotcha. So as he turns to face you, the three of you will get treated to, I guess I said, this very thin, kind of underfed looking teenage boy. He's got long, unevenly cut black hair hanging all in front of his face, but the white shirt on his front is spattered in the blood, which was what you were tracking him by, Muscle Sheep.
Huh.
He'll, as I said, yank his arms out of the jacket and he'll kind of push himself back against the brick wall you got him trapped against, and he's looking panicked around at the three.
All right. So what's your story?
What's your story? Chasing down a man at dead of night?
Said man also came from a robbed jewelry store where a hero was on the floor bleeding.
Look, I might have gone in the back door, but look, I didn't take anything. I didn't hurt that man. Get your dog off.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing. My dog, as you so call, doesn't like it when innocents get hurt. You hurt somebody. So, I'll cut you a deal. You tell us what you were doing in there. I'll did not hurt you that much. If I feel at any point you're lying to me, well, I'm pretty sure you can fill that part in.
He's still definitely afraid of this rabid-looking dog kind of barreling down at him. But you see, there's a note of resentment in his voice, and he's not cowing as much as you might have thought he would to your accusations as he kind of looks at you. Look, I didn't hurt him. I didn't hurt anybody. I didn't steal that stuff. Look, not him, as he kind of nudges your nose with his shoe, Muscle Sheep, but you, policeman, search me. I ain't got no gems on.
You are under arrest for criminal trespassing and third-degree murder.
He's dead?
I'm just going to not answer and slowly approach.
He's looking at you really warily and trying to. He thinks you must be lying because for some reason he believes there's no way the man died. But as you do reach up to him, you're gonna pat him down, perhaps?
Before I get up to where he is, I'm going to stop at the dumpster and just take a look inside there to see if I see a spot where he may have stashed the stolen goods.
All right. You do look inside. You maybe reach your hand in there and shift around this bag of really foul-smelling trash. Ooh, that's a pretty bracelet.
I'll pull the bracelet out and say, "Didn't steal anything, did you?"
What have we said about lying?
Okay, so I took one thing that got its way into my pocket on the way out, but I didn't steal the rest of it.
Let's say we believe you. Who did? Then who took the rest?
I I don't know. I just walked in the back door because it was open, and look, you're not the first hero to wrongly accuse me tonight. The fucking maniac just clapped me in irons as soon as he saw me. Like I was just wrong place, wrong time.
Out of character, is Maniac another hero or is he referring to Sheeb?
You get the picture that he's disparaging the hero that you guys found injured.
Hmm.
Essentially, what he's claiming is that a crime happened and the perpetrator left. The hero showed up as this guy that we're interrogating went in the back to kind of, get something else in the aftermath, and the hero accused him of being the perpetrator. Is essentially what he's claiming.
Well, I think I think our friends at the station would have some questions for you. But, Sheeb, what do you think?
I'm going to sniff this guy and see if he smells the same as the injured hero.
He does, and the blood that his shirt is stained with is absolutely the hero's.
Okay. He's going to basically stand up and say, "Very bad. Hurt hero. Much punishment. Wow."
Well, that's judgment.
There is also the matter of the handcuff attached to your wrist. That is not something that a non-powered human would be capable of.
He kind of looks, you see him cast a furtive glance at the handcuff hanging off of his wrist, and he just sucks his teeth. So what's your team's next move?
Jalem will unleash her powers to create vines. And pretty much just like hog tie him.
Fair enough. Go ahead and do the freak roll.
Alright.
So, from the ground sprouts these vines. The rest of you have probably gotten pretty used to seeing this kind of signature move from Jalem as they wrap around the figure and start to restrain. Any words for him?
Well, she pick him up, but you, I'm not going to call you my friend because you're clearly not. You're going to the station and you're going to have a nice long conversation with. Oh, let's go, guys.
So, I, as a player, have kind of realized something, but I don't know if Muscle Sheep would have realized it, because I don't know if he has that kind of wisdom score, so to say.
Right.
What should I do in this situation?
Well, I mean, I will have faith in whatever kind of judgment call you make. If you don't think that Muscle Sheep would pick up on it, then he obviously should.
Okay, I'll talk about it after this.
Yeah,
Muscle
so-
Sheep will pick him up. And he says, "Such justice, good boy." It starts wagging his tail.
Okay. As you go to pick him up, he gets to do something. Okay. You reach towards him and go to pick him up from the vines. This lanky figure, the shirt sleeves pushed up to his shoulders. His arms are skin and bone. That's a lot of bone. His wrist starts to crack, rotate, and then the bone comes out of the skin, and it's still growing, and there's needles, and then swords, and then blades, and he reaches up and slashes out at you, cleaving through the vine and leaving a nice long scratch across your chest, Muscle Sheep. And before you can even blink, he's trying to run down the alleyway. What are you doing, Void?
Do I need to
Uh.
roll anything for taking that hit?
Let's see. I will say you can mark any condition that you'd like.
Okay. I think I'll mark guilty because I feel like he let that happen.
Yeah, fair enough.
Maybe he saw the bones and he was like, "Bone?" Realized the danger that everyone was in.
Void Spawn, what's you doing?
I am going to drop the disguise and, not to rhyme, take to the skies.
Nice. All right, how are you taking to the skies?
The same time as last time, just kind of spread my form thin and take off like a bird and fly, keeping pace with him, flying overhead.
Alrighty. Jalim, your vines were cut through very easily. And also Muscle Sheep is pretty injured.
Damn it. Jalem will just command like the majority of the vines to retreat. And the torn up bits, like she'll actually start like fashioning into like a very basic bandage just to cover up the wound.
That's gonna feel a little bit better, Muscle Sheep. At least you're getting tended to.
Like, all right, you did good, buddy. I really should have seen that coming.
You're a good boy.
So let's actually have you do comfort or support. So you get to roll plus mundane to help Muscle Sheep.
All right. Wow, at that. Makes sense though.
Yep. Right. So you can mark a potential, and you still definitely are trying to take care of him, but it's not having the cathartic result you thought it might.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's kind of doing that thing that dogs do when they just start trembling. Once they're afraid.
Like they start shivering.
The Chihuahua shiver.
The tremble, yeah. Because he's supposed to be, big, strong guy, and he just got taken out.
Mm.
So while you two are kind of tending to that scratch, Void Spawn, you're in the air. You're following this guy from above. You watch as this really like monstrous looking bone formation starts to chip away and break and turn into dust, and what's left behind is his normal wrist, if a bit bloody look. Are you gonna just follow him? Do you have any plans to engage?
Well, I don't get the sense that he's. Actually, you know what? I will just follow for now. Does it seem like he knows that I'm following him, or no?
He hasn't noticed you yet.
I'll keep following him until he notices me, and then I'll engage. But otherwise, maybe he's done this stuff before, and we might be able to recover other stolen goods by going to his hideout.
Fair enough. We'll have a couple panels there of you kind of covertly paragliding behind. We'll go back to the ambulance. The EMTs have packed up. They've gone and they're taking the hero to get care. And Emily and Highlight, you two are just now left alone. And where did your friends go?
Can we see Void Spawn like in the sky yet?
Are you keeping like close to the rooftops, or are you trying to get some good air?
I'd be low enough that I could still not like lose him if he goes into a crowd, but otherwise as high as possible so I don't get noticed.
I would say like not immediately, but if you take a minute to look, like, yeah, that looks like something in the air that shouldn't.
Well, that looks like something we might want to take a look at.
I'm not paying attention. I'm on my twit longer, vague tweeting about awful people.
She'll roll her eyes at him and get up and just kind of silently walk away and leave his ass where he is.
I'd imagine you look up from typing out a scathing sentence, and Emily's walking away.
Hey, where are you going? And I'll just like run after her.
I told
Stuffing
you where
my
I was
phone.
going, but you weren't listening.
Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry.
You guys follow the gray floating mass through the sky. Unfortunately, as you are not flying, you have to take a few more turns, and you're not going straight towards them. You do try and keep up, and you're actually probably closer to them now than Muscle Sheeb and Jalem as they kind of limp back towards the jewelry store. So Void Spawn, he's not looking up. He's not noticing you. But as he starts to get down what he thinks is an abandoned alleyway, he's reaching down, and with surprising strength for so skinny a frame, he's trying to rip up a manhole cover.
I'm just gonna keep watching for now, and once he presumably does get it open, I will land and condense myself into a very dense rat and go down after him.
So not trying to stop him, but definitely following.
Yes.
Gotcha. So indeed, he will get the lid off. He'll kind of hop down with an ease that says he's maybe done this before. And then he puts the lid back. Thankfully, I mean, sewers are sewers, but Halcyon City is pretty modern and futuristic, and it's not as dirty down here as it might otherwise be. But you follow him as he is still weaving down different tunnels and taking some switchbacks and trying to lose any pursuers. Let's see, I will have you. I don't know what a good one to roll here would. How good is your superior?
It's a +2.
So let's have you roll and assess the situation to see how well you're able to kind of predict and follow the trail he's going.
Well, if it's anything like the rest of my rolls, it'll be a 4.
Big money. Oh, so you got double.
not bad at all. So maybe you're not, on his heels, but you're definitely managing to keep up even in this low light area. Um, Eventually, he starts to think that he's lost his pursuers and he's going to slow down and start to kind of follow a more intent path. You get to a point where you guys, know the typical sort of bulkhead fallout door type thing where you spin it to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the wheel on the front.
He stops at one of those, which that's a little weird to be down in the sewers. He spins it, opens it, steps inside. It's gonna be tight. Are you gonna try and squeeze in before he slams it?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
I mean, you could fit either way, right?
Well, worst case scenario, I get squished, but I don't think that would necessarily be lethal for me, just very uncomfortable until the next person opens.
Nice. So let's do the threat here is the door closing before you can get in, so let's have you directly engage that threat.
Okay, this is probably my worst stat, but we will see what happens.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah,
Oh no.
It actually
squished it is.
It says, "Oh dear," that's wonderful.
So, question, is that fatal to you?
Nothing
Sorry,
is
what I
ever
was
fatal
coughing.
in comics.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably just liquid squish inside the track of the door.
Well, what's actually going to happen as he slams it shut is that your semi-liquid form is going to get cleaved into. One smaller puddle is on one side of the door, and the other smaller puddle is on the outside.
Oh
Which
no.
that hurts, and we're gonna, kind of for these purposes say, go ahead and mark a condition, whatever one you want, but you're sort of out of action for this scene, so to speak.
Yeah, that stands to reason, and I think I will go with insecure.
Gotcha. But as we're gonna kind of fade to black here, from your perspective, as he shuts the door and kind of waltzes into this room, and it is a room. It's actually kind of cozily lit. There's some cloth and blankets kind of spread around on the cement floors that make it a bit warmer. And with a much different voice, this man calls out, "I'm home, Titania." And then we'll fade to black and take just a good 5 to 10 minute break.
Okay, so we'll be back by like the 15.
Yeah, if you can get back earlier, cool, but we'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, gotcha.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. Yep.
I think so.
I wouldn't say I'm
Yep.
good.
All right. You got the recording up again, Rainbow?
Yes,
All right. So, we'll kind of get back to highlight and beatbox. You guys will eventually lose sight of your floating quarry because he disappeared. So is that going to discourage you to turn around, or are you going to try and still find?
I'm gonna keep going. Well, I'm gonna
he's-
convince Beatbox that we should keep going.
Yeah, he must be after something important, so.
You guys will follow him to about the point where you think he vanished, and looking around, you check down this alley and down that one, and you just don't see where they got.
Can I assess the situation to try and figure it out? Or because it doesn't seem like it's obvious.
It isn't, but I will definitely let you roll. So go ahead and we'll see if you can get inspiration.
Come on. That's like my best stat too.
It is a potential mark, though.
I'll take it.
So you do look around. You're trying to figure it out. I mean, he could have just gotten, landed and gone out into the open street. You're not sure. It doesn't. There's no obvious direction he took.
I'll turn to beatbox and go like, well, I'm stumped.
BB.
Mm. She's thinking about maybe raising her voice to like yell for him, but she doesn't want to hurt Highlight's ears. Cover your ears really well.
I get out some earplugs because I'm sure this has happened before.
Let it be written. Let it be done.
And then she'll put her hands over on top of his earplugs, just as like, you can't say I didn't warn you. Then she'll shout out, "Where are you going? Like, we can't see you from here. Void?"
Give us a sign.
You do not immediately hear any response from your extraterrestrial friend. What you do get is a story up to your left, a window flies open, and a Latina grandma sticks her head out the door and starts screaming at you in fluent Spanish.
Oh no. Wait, how does Void spawn? Does it have, like... Or he does that too. Does Void spawn have like a device he uses to communicate with us?
I would assume by now I
imagine,
would have picked something up.
like a phone.
It isn't one of your powers like you can soup up technology?
Mm-mm.
Yes,
Mine or his?
mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I picked the alien tech move.
So you could definitely have a very customly modified phone if you had so desired.
Yeah, I figure by now, if we're a functioning team, I would have picked up something to remain in communication over distance.
Would he add highlight on Find My Friends?
You see, I'm antisocial, so I don't even know what that is.
Oh, it's the app on the iPhone. So we're gonna imagine it's like an iPhone equivalent where you can just see your friend's location based on their phone.
Oh, so you're part of the lesser race. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm the worst.
It's all about the superficial for him, just like it is with Highlight.
Thanks.
Damn.
But we'll just imagine there's like an application that lets you track other people who have the same application, and we all have it.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea for a superhero team.
And she just has a chip.
He's microchip.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his collar.
No!
Wait, why would we chip Sheeb?
Because he doesn't have a phone!
I don't have pants either.
It's attached to your collar.
Yeah, I think we'd have actually just given him a collar that just beeps when someone's trying to contact him, and Julian would have taught him just tap it.
Well, he would have had to have something more sophisticated. He's a person, like maybe a bandana or like a little dog bow tie or something.
It translates it into like Sheeb language.
Well, he
What if we give him a
understands
phone, but he
English.
keeps it in one of those little the whiskey barrels that the Saint Bernards have around their necks?
That would be so cute.
So like it's up to you.
I mean, it makes sense to have something like that in case one of us gets captured or something. So I could see it having a feature like that.
Well, you will follow that signal and you'll get to the point where you think he is. He seems to be definitely around here. And here being this really run down apartment complex, and like you're starting to get towards the bad neighborhoods of Halcyon City. The building looks abandoned, it looks condemnable, and you don't know where your friend is, but his GPS is about here.
Interesting. How run down is this house?
You would be very surprised if anyone lives in this apartment complex. It might be used for drug deals, but that's about it.
Perfect. I'll cautiously call out, Void, if you're here, say something.
As that speech bubble is written out, the next panel, as we kind of do another little, imagine the camera will like kind of tilt down through the pavement, down a few layers into this subterranean chamber.
Of course, doing the thing where it passes by a layer where you see dinosaur bones in the pavement.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And we'll get down there, and Void Spawn, your two halves are maybe kind of like trying to rejoin, but the door is in the way.
This is uncomfortable and painful.
You'd be thinking that literally?
Yes.
But you're down there for a while, and you'll overhear maybe a bit more conversation. Not as much as you might have liked because you are in this precarious state, but you get the impression that this man is talking to some other person in this dwelling. He's kind of fussing over her, making sure she's okay. And that's about as much as you can get out of there in your current circumstance.
If I can, just because I know part of me is on the wrong side of the door, so to speak, I'll try to make that puddle, well, I guess all puddle really, look more like water. So it's not quite as metallic and obvious.
Absolutely. Eventually, are you just content to kind of lie there then?
If it seems like I can't fully go in one direction or the other, I don't imagine I'd be able to open the door on my own anyway in this condition.
You could try and manipulate that sort of half puddle to do so, but it's going to be an unleash your powers roll because that's kind of an intense transformation.
It'll also immediately alert them, so I think for now I'll stay put. If it seems like anything, if it seems like they're going to go to like another room where I'm going to be able to not be able to hear them at all anymore, maybe I'll try to get in all the way, but otherwise I'll just deal with the bits and pieces I'm picking up for now.
Gotcha. All right, Jalim and Muscle Sheep, you guys have been sort of slowly making your way back towards perhaps the jewelry store.
Mm-hmm.
you'll eventually get there, and what you'll find are a couple of police officers that are coming the place, and these are not the beat down low tier cops you turned over the dog whistler to. These are a bit more like shiny badges.
Mm-hmm.
They'll kind of stop you and say, "Excuse me, do you know what's going on here? We had reports there were children matching your description at this."
um, so out of character, like for context, like does Parasol own the police, so to speak?
So I doubt they would go so far as to own the police. I'm sure that higher ups have been bribed into not investigating Parasol too much.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not enough that like, oh, I work for Parasol, so you can turn around and leave me alone.
All right. But so in that case, Jalem would just respond with, well, just so you know, there was an attempted armed robbery. We tried to stop him, and one of our own is currently in pursuit. This big guy here, got injured. Trying to restrain him.
That is quite a little injury there. How are you doing? You can hear the air quotes, big guy.
Much pain, not fun, very out.
Right, well, we'll get you medical attention, of course. There's someone in the car that can take care of that, but I'm gonna have to ask you to come with us. The Hero Association's gonna want a full report on what went down.
All right, and she looks around. She was expecting Beatbox and Highlight to be there. Like, wait a minute. She look at the police officer. Can you just take this big guy, like get him patched up? There were more of us. I don't know where they ran off to.
Very well. You come with me, and he'll kind of motion over for another officer, a bit younger looking. You go with the young lady. See her. Help her find her friend.
And she'll just nod and like she'll take off and she'll just get running before pulling out her phone.
And who are you calling?
She'll dial for Emily.
So
The
Emily,
reliable one.
It's true.
you get a phone call, Emily.
She probably has Bluetooth or something set up inside of her helmet of sorts, so she'll push one of the buttons and say hello.
Hey, where are you two? Emily, it's me, Jalem. Where are you two?
We're trying to follow Void Spawn. He was in the sky a little bit ago and disappeared, and then he never we couldn't find him again.
Oh, that's not good.
Where are you guys?
We're back at the jewelry store where there's police here.
We have to turn around.
Void.
Hmm?
Where did you say Void went? I'm going to you right now.
I don't know. He was in the sky and then we lost sight of him.
Oh, no.
You'll hear her kind of mumble over to Highlight. You didn't see him, right?
I shake my head.
Yeah, he's gone.
I tell Beatbox, tell her we're in front of some janky house.
Yeah, we're not in a super great part of town, so
What are the cross streets?
You can give her the address pretty easy.
it's she'll have to like squint a little bit to see out her mask. It's Watson and Edison.
Gotcha, we're on our way. And the bed.
Okay. Back underground, you've been trying and concentrating really hard to reform your halves. You might have been looking out for them to go quiet, the voice. What you didn't expect was someone to come back into this foyer area. You did a good job of hiding yourself so they don't notice you as they open the door again.
Is it the same kid as before, or is it the other one?
As you kind of reform and sense through whatever optical organs you have, it's a girl. Uh, about the same age, but a little bit younger. Still shabby, but a lot cleaner looking than the boy.
As the door opens, I'll try to slip the rest of the way in rather than out.
You may do so, and she will shut the door behind her as she leaves. She's going back out into this. You will slide into the main room.
Yes, I'll do what I was doing before and go back into being a rat now that my body is back together again.
Gotcha. As you come into the main room, as I said a little bit earlier, it's a concrete kind of underground facility, but it looks like someone has tried to make it nicer. There's some rugs scattered around, really saggy couches with holes in them. There's a bunk bed against the wall. It's kind of bright and homey, if, like I said, very shabby in here. The only electronic you see is a little like freestanding radio, which is on the table, and it's going just quietly chirping away at some broadcast with a hero announcer on it. And lying in the bottom of the bunk bed is the kid that you had been chasing, seemingly asleep.
As long as he seems to be asleep, I'm gonna do a little bit of snooping around, see if I can find any information about who these kids are, what they're doing here.
You'll go searching around. On top of the scattered furniture they've got and tucked into the corners of this room, you'll find lots of old Chinese takeout containers, prepackaged food. You'll find magazines and old newspapers, 3 thick on the coffee table. Not a whole lot of information, although you will find maybe tucked into a drawer if you're able to get that open. Not a lot, but another like a piece of jewelry, an expensive watch, maybe this really nice smartphone, just single objects tucked in.
Would I get the impression that they may have been telling the truth about not being the one behind the heist, given how little stuff I've found?
You get the impression that these people obviously haven't had tons of money before. Maybe you thwarted them, stopped them in the middle of doing something tonight, but they were not having tons of treasure lying around their hide.
Okay. Well, since I'm almost assuredly not going to be able to open the door without waking the kid up, I may as well just retake my policeman guise and just walk over, fake billy club in hand, and just give the kid a rap on the leg, wake him up.
He kind of jerks. It's not as immediate of a reaction as you might have thought. He really seems to kind of come up from a deep sleep, even though it's only been a few minutes as you tap. As he jerks away, he kind of looks at you and just his eyes are wide open. He's, how did you get?
I'm very good at my job.
What are you gonna do with me?
I get the sense you are not a career criminal from looking around this place before approaching you. If you are willing to come quietly, I will see to it that you are given a light sentence.
You can see his eyes are real fixed on you. He's trying to hold your attention. Once again, that wrist, which, if you look at, it's not as bloody, but the skin is still real red and raw. The wrist is kind of itching up the bed, slightly higher.
And I do notice this.
You do.
Taking a step back, I will go ahead and hold up my hand like I'm, telling him to stop, and I will have some spikes jut out of my wrist. Not to attack him, but just to show him.
He kind of freezes a little bit. He, tucks his head into his chest. His eyes dart around the room once, twice, making sure they flicker towards one of the larger pieces of furniture in here, like an armoire dressing cabinet type thing. Sees that the doors are shut and seems content. Okay, I'll go. There's a staircase behind the bookcase.
All right, you lead the way.
He'll get up from the bed. I'm assuming you're kind of like keeping your now bladed wrist kind of at his.
I'm not like immediately behind him because I don't want to be in like slashing range should he decide to attack, but I'm definitely not letting him out of my sight either.
So he'll go over to one of the bookcases that you looked at before that was covered in kind of food trash. He'll kind of shift it to the side, and sure enough, there's a little kind of cut into the wall. There's a small book, sort of staircase that leads up. You would definitely have to kind of crouch down to get through.
I will follow him out, assuming that he goes.
You'll go through a couple of real cramped stairs. You'll come up into a ground floor through a trap door of this really disgusting and derelict looking building. If you're going to point him out towards the street, you guys will go, and as you open the door, you'll eventually be confronted with two of your friends that were waiting out there.
Oh, fancy meeting you here. I have
Wait,
apprehended the criminal.
do you still look like a cop?
Yes.
I just give you a funny look. It's like, hello, officer?
I mean, it's still my voice.
Oh, okay, okay.
And my very stilted way of speaking.
Yeah, Highlight and Beatbox, you had been really concerned about where your friend was, and he just pops out of this building.
Where have you been all this time?
In the sewers.
I point downward, and then I'm like, oh, that's why your signal was here. Who's... And I point at the The kid. Who's this guy?
The culprit of the jewelry heist, or at least the one who assaulted the other hero.
He got what he got, what he had coming to him for locking me up.
I peer a little closer at this kid. How old is he, would you say?
He's about y'all's age. You know, I think our team has some different age ranges. He's maybe 16.
Okay, so he's my age and I'm calling him a kid.
Well, you're all kids.
True. We're teens, thank you very much. I can get my permit if I wanted to.
Yeah.
I'm 16 and a half, thank you.
Oh, you're the oldest.
Wait, how old is Muscle Sheep?
In dog years or people years?
Yes.
I imagine he's like 14, 15.
Aw.
The mouse.
Well, are we gonna stand out in the cold all night, or are you gonna take me where you want me to go?
Well, as I said, I will seek to make sure you are given a light sentence. You have come along willingly.
That's fishy.
He sucks his teeth again and doesn't look at any of you.
Hmm.
Jillian. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, if I was going to try and see how sincere this person was, would that be like Pierce the Mask?
Yeah, I would say yes. That would be a Pierce the Mask.
Oh, I'm super bad at that.
You'd have to kind of do it verbally. You'd have to kind of talk to them a bit, but you can definitely do that.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like one of the questions, if you succeed, is what are you really planning? So that'd be kind of the insight check equivalent.
Yeah, so I'd just be like, hold up, I don't believe what this guy's saying. And I try to pierce his mask.
Well, let's have you
Somebody.
roll mundane.
I have a -1. I just keep getting 4s.
Nice. So you try and weasel out of him a bit, like, quit acting. What are you really thinking about this whole situation? His head doesn't lift, but the eyes kind of flick up, so they're looking at you through the really dirty black fringe of hair, and he just glares at you. Up until now, and you were there, Void Spawn, like even cornered in the alleyway, like he was defiant, but there's anger in his eyes as he looks at Highlight.
I take a step back, like, whoa, what's your problem?
Okay, Copper, let's go.
If I can get this guy a little bit separate from the rest of my group, enough where I could, like, get a whisper to him, I'll just whisper, I won't tell anyone about your friend.
That really makes him stiffen, and he kind of jerks his head back and looks at you more wide-eyed, and he just shakes his head at you like, don't say anything.
I just nod, basically trying to like give him reason to continue playing along with us rather than try to attack us.
And he will do so. And about this time, Jalim, you were gonna follow the address to go where your friends told you they.
Mm-hmm. Would she see Void and like this kid?
Yeah, definitely. As you would come up the street, the cops still kind of huffing at your heels.
And then so she recognizes the kid and just like, you! And to like summon up her vines.
You actually like to attack him?
Or more like just like restrain him and like this time really restrain him so the fact that if he tries to shift, it just crunches down on him.
Yeah, fair enough. And he's surprisingly loose and not resisting, as this time the vines kind of wrap around him much more thoroughly.
What the? And
You,
then
you,
she. God.
you do hear from behind you the officer kind of like, "Hey, unprovoked use of power."
This is the guy who hurt that hero.
Oh,
And hurt my.
well, that's for the association to decide. Don't just go attacking people.
I'm not attacking him, I'm restraining him.
It's hard to tell with you weirdos. Like, look the same to me, freak.
Oof.
Something in. Like. Just something in Dilemma's head sort of snaps. And she just like, you know what? No. And she just walks away.
With a destination in mind, or just away?
She just like walks towards the Parasol building.
Right, gotcha. No one's gonna stop you from the cop side, or any of your teammates around here gonna say anything to stop her?
Muscle Sheep is not there.
She's just going off by herself?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Normally, I would probably try to say something, but I feel like I'm the only one that's keeping this kid calm, so I'd like to stay with him.
Fair enough.
I'd go try and talk to her, even though we don't get along very well.
Well, feel free. How would you like to talk to her?
Because if I'm understanding right, she's not pleased and storming off, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. uh, I just start by asking you, like, where are you going? What's the matter? We can't just leave Void to handle this kid by himself.
I'm heading off to the lab. Just, you guys have fun playing. You guys have fun being heroes. This is just, yeah, no.
But we're all heroes, including you. And I feel like that would be trying to comfort her, which I'm really bad at doing.
We can get into a role in a minute, but keep talking for a second.
Yeah, I'd tell Jillem that it's not just us, that's all of us.
Let me put it blatantly simple. I am not a hero. I am the person you consult when things go wrong. So, at best, I am your consultant. But I am no hero. That guy we stopped, that wasn't even a threat. Yeah, he had a dog whistle. Big whoop. You can get that at a store.
He was still a villain, though. And
No, he was.
I think I'm gonna. I don't know if I have influence over Jillem. I know she has it over me.
You can check your sheet. And
Yeah,
it'll.
Oh, I do actually. Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that. But yeah, I do. But I would try to shift your labels so your. Which one would be down? Your superior would go up, and I would put your freak down.
Okay, so he's kind of doing a double whammy here. He's both comforting and trying to kind of tell you a bit more about yourself. So, Highlight, go ahead and roll to comfort or support her. And Jalim, you need to decide if you want to accept his words or kind of deny it.
I have a move called Take It From Me, but it only works on people who admire me for being a celebrity, and I don't think she does.
Nope.
Yeah, so that wouldn't work. I'll just use my mundane then.
So she's gonna try and deny that.
So that's just a flat 2d6 roll.
It really doesn't work.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Okay, so no comfort is going on. And Jalim, do you still have the rejecting influence thing I put in chat?
Let me pull up chat.
It's above the JoJo memes.
Here we go. Wait, no, that's team. Here we go. So I reject someone's influence. I rolled a 7 to 9. I don't have a condition. On that, I would just cancel their influence on me.
All right, so to kind of put those pieces together, Highlight, you're trying to reach out and comfort her because you notice that she's taken this kind of hard. She's not really having any of it. And furthermore, she's not buying what you're selling about what kind of person she is. She's
It's
convinced she's not a.
Yeah, and it's probably coming off as like really insincere and as though he doesn't really get what she's feeling, but more like he's just trying to like invalidate it.
Yeah. And given that even just earlier tonight, she kind of told you that you're a shit hero. I mean, she's starting to lose any kind of faith she had in the words of your words meaning anything to her.
So I take influence off, as in I don't have influence over her anymore.
Correct.
Got it.
I don't know if there's a place on the sheet to mark that. I don't know. Maybe you can note it down somewhere, but the next time you roll anything towards highlight, you get a +1.
Okay. Like I just have it marked on my sheet as just +1.
Fair enough.
Oh, I got 5 potentials.
Okay, so that means at the end of this session you can do a level up.
Nice. All that missing.
That's the point of the system. So Jalim, round it all up for us. What's your reaction like?
So at this one, like, combined with her annoyance from just what happened today, trying to act like a hero, but really she has to call him out again for being on the phone when there is a potentially dangerous situation, and then with the whole like cop calling her a freak for doing his job, she's very upset. Like she might do something drastic next time, like how she threatened sicking Sheep to break every bone in his body. Instead of sicking Sheep, she just might do it herself.
And we do get the storming off panel.
Yep.
Oh, mission failed. We'll get him next time, highlight.
I tried to pretend.
All right.
Would you like some acting classes? I have been told that I am very skilled.
Oh, hi.
Thanks for the offer.
Eventually,
I'll pat him on the shoulder.
Eventually, a cop car will come by, and probably a couple of them actually, because she probably takes up most of one in the back. pick up the rest of you and this kid that you've also apprehended. And they're taking you not towards the station, not towards your homes, but towards the Hero Association headquarters, a building you all have never had the displeasure of going to.
Displeasure.
You have had to interact with. Sorry, you might have missed this in the intro reel. You've never been there, but their officials have been telling you the entire time you've been heroing together, not that you guys are kids and to stay out of real hero work. They're the ones that sent you after the dog whistler. They think you need to calm down, start acting like kids.
Oh.
So we are gonna, as you are heading towards the Hero Association headquarters, this is where this issue will end.
Dun dun dun.
Now, we do have one more thing to do before we depart. At the end of each session now, since we're starting real content, you all have to answer a question. So we'll start with Emily. During this session, did you either get closer to the team, grow more into your own image of yourself, or grow away from the team?
I think I might have grown closer to the team, especially with helping highlight out with the hero that was collapsed. We kind of had a good little bit of time there getting that handled with each other.
We had a moment.
Well, very good. So you get to give highlight influence if he doesn't already have it. And
Oh, she has it.
well, do you have it over her?
Oh, I don't think so. Wait. Oh, I do actually, yeah.
Okay, so that's good. And you, Emily, get to clear a condition or mark a potential.
I don't have a condition, so.
So potential marked. All right, highlight. During this session, did you go closer to the team, away from the team, or more into your own image?
Like the team as a whole?
The team as a whole, kind of abstract.
I feel like I got I feel like I got more distant. Just like with Jalem yelling at me all the time. And then when I tried to comfort her, it just fell flat. And also like my insecurity that I felt. I just feel like I'm questioning everything.
Yeah, absolutely fair. So you get to take influence over you away from another character.
Oh. So someone who has influence on me, I can take that away from them.
Correct.
What's your hero name again?
My hero name?
He's highlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jillem has influence on me, and I'll take that away since we are fighting.
Yeah.
So you
Alright.
do still keep your +1 forward, but you don't have influence over it. Now, same question to you, Muscle Sheep. Closer to the team, away from the team, more into your vision of Muscle Sheep.
I think I really kind of embraced sort of my canine side, especially with that whole chase scene. So I feel like I'm kind of becoming more into myself as Muscle Sheep.
Cool. So you can shift one of your labels up and another one down and tell us why.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift. I'm going to shift danger up one and shift mundane down because I really kind of embraced that whole monstrosity part of me, less than human. So I've become less human but more dangerous, I guess you could.
Absolutely. And not saying anything bad about that. That's a totally awesome pick. Just for the record, in case I did not mention it, if you already have a +3 or a -2, those are like the maximum you can go in one direction. So if something tries to make you go up to a +4, you stay at +3 and mark a condition because the pressure of that gets to you. So +3 and -2 are the maximums of what you can do.
Yeah, and currently all of my scores are within.
Yeah, like I said, you were fine, but just for the record, like for you right now, if someone tries to tell you that you're even more of a freak than you think you are, that's gonna affect your psyche.
Yeah.
So Richter, closer to the team, further from the team, or more into Jalim's version of Jalim?
Honestly, it's a lot farther from the team than initially. And the thing is, she's starting. It's on the basis of like she might end up being a villain instead of a reformed.
Right? So take influence away from someone.
Who has influence over
So it can be a team member too. I'll have to look and see who all has it, but also it doesn't say it has to be a team member.
Oh, so I could choose like one of my contacts and have them lose the tech?
So you can pick someone in your life that you think would have. So basically, every adult has influence over you. So you could
Mm-hmm.
choose to stop listening to an adult of your choice, theoretically.
One tick from her mentor, so that sort of like phrased them even further apart.
Gotcha. So, Azur, the same question to you.
I'd have to say probably closer to the group. He feels like he's contributing to the team. He still doesn't feel like a hero, so I wouldn't say that he's grown any further into his own vision of himself. But he feels like he's contributing. He's helping the team out.
Who in particular in the team really helped you feel welcome?
Oddly enough, probably Jillum.
Right. So, Jillum, you get influence over Void Spawn if you didn't already have it.
Mm-hmm.
And Void Spawn, you can either clear a condition or mark potential.
It's a tough call because marking potential will finish that chart up for me, but I do also still have insecure. I'll take the risk and go with marking potential.
Gotcha. So, you said that finished your 5?
Yes.
So you and Highlight did. Did anyone else fill their potential track?
Nope.
Negative.
Doesn't help that I've been rolling well.
Right. So both Azur and Dan, you guys get to level up. So open your playbooks that are in Roll20, wipe your track, and choose one of the advancement options from the first set of lists. And let me know if there's any questions with that.
I'll take another move from my playbook.
Gotcha. And how about you, Azur?
Hmm. think I will. I'll take a move from another playbook and I'll take a look around and see what I like, but I'm not decided just yet.
Totally fair. But other than that, we have concluded this session of Masks New Generation.
Huzzah!
Applause, applause.